Hi guys, Richard Murphy, The Economist, was interviewed by Rachel Johnson on her show about the economic gimmick of cutting inheritance tax. The professor here rightly explains that such a move would not help the vast majority of people in Britain. Instead, the Tories are going in the opposite direction. Any reduction in inheritance tax would benefit a very small section of society, of course the richest. And this comes as the Department of Work and Pensions is planning to further punish people on benefits. Richard says the changes to inheritance tax would harm the Tories. I tend to disagree.
Look, where would I put him? I would call him an absolute disgrace. He would be giving a tax cut of roughly £270,000 per household to 27,000 estates who pay inheritance tax a year, whilst 36 million people in the UK, ordinary taxpayers, will be getting a tax rise because he won't have increased the inflation allowance on the personal allowance next year. To me, he could do that for a roughly 8 billion, if I'm honest. He could raise the tax threshold in line with inflation and give everybody 250 quid. Instead, he's going to give 27,000 households £250,000. That is just the opposite of what this country needs. If he was to do that, my guess is that right now the Tories are on around 20% support. If he wants to turn it into 16, go ahead and cut inheritance tax, Jeremy.
Okay. Of course, when it comes to the economic argument, Richard Murphy is right on the money. But I think maybe Richard is undermining the client media, the pro-Tory press, who will try and sell any cut in inheritance tax as equality, as reducing the tax burden on all British people. You know, they're able to tap into this fear that many people probably have. And of course, that fear is strengthened by misinformation, convincing people that everyone pays inheritance tax. Anyone who's about to inherit a home or a piece of property or some cash from a dead relative, they will have to pay inheritance tax. And that's unfair because that's money that was earned and you're being punished. It's a death tax or whatever. That's the way it's been. That's the way it has been pushed in the media, and it will be pushed. So we must never underestimate the right-wing media and the pro-Tory press's success in convincing people to vote against their own interests. Now, when Richard was talking about how the benefits for ordinary people will not increase with inflation, that will not be mentioned, of course. Just inheritance tax, because it'll be presented as a big issue. It'll be presented as this is, the Conservatives giving back to people. Of course, very few people will pay inheritance tax. We're talking about the richest in society. And that's who the Tories want to help out before they go. I don't think this is actually an election gimmick. I think it's just about giving something to the richest in society before the Tories leave the building. I think at this stage they understand they're going to lose. They're not going to hold on to many seats. They're definitely not going to hold on to power. So instead of actually trying to fight the election, because if they were really serious about fighting the election, they would be talking about helping out ordinary people. They haven't been doing it for 13 years, so they're not going to do it now. So this is somewhat an election gimmick, but I think it's mainly about just giving something back to the rich. Giving more back to the rich. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.